Okay, it said it started. Then live on Facebook. I might be able to go live on YouTube, but I'm not going to try it out today. We're starting a little late. I started exactly on time, but the computer was moving slow and not responding like now. It started good. The camera went on. I don't know if it was on before. And it should be taking me to the page so I can go live on Facebook. See. Try again. It has that little circle going around as if it's doing something. So hopefully it is. But if it is, I don't see it yet. I'm going to check something here. See if I can pull something up. It says Google Chrome is not responding. Maybe it will. It was earlier. Oh, I guess I'll just give it its time. See if it happens. Okay. So at the moment, it's not on Facebook Live, but I'm going to start. It's doing some changes. I'd like it to be on Facebook Live. I'm going to screen share. Okay. I was wondering if it was going to let me do that. It is. Oh, it's not responding. Let's see. Okay. That should work. Oh, I'm going to stop this because I got a page so that it can go live on Facebook, which is what I wanted. So I'm going to take the time to fill out their little form when I get it, and then start it. And then I'll go back to the screen share. There. Okay. Okay, good. Things are going super slow, but they're going. Okay. There. Okay. Now we're live on Facebook. I'll go back to the screen share. I'm going to get a little water. Okay. Huh. All right. Today, I found a couple of lessons from previous shows that I'm going to pull up and share them with you. Today's topic was because we're each important. If you visited my website, you see that is the first message that I give. And I hadn't realized how significant it was. Okay, here we go. But that has recently come to my awareness. And that is why this show had the title that it did. Okay, let's see. And when I was looking through things for things to share today, these are the besides stories, which if we have time I will get to, these are the first things that came up. So today I'm going to share a few simple strategies with you so that you can ease your stress and reduce your overwhelm. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you is that I'm going to be doing a challenge on this topic. So you'll hear more about that later. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'll start here. Instead of stress, you'll feel calm. Instead of overwhelmed, guilty, or worried, you'll feel a sense of ease. That's what I want to help happen. I'm going to share tools, skills, and strategies I used as a parent, a teacher, and some new ones I've discovered and created for my personal well-being. These are ones I use daily. If you're feeling stress, it's most likely you're going to want to be able to ease your stress right in the middle of a stressful situation. It helps if you can become aware of increasing stress as you start to feel it. It's kind of like something I used to call my cue. I wrote about it in my first book and in my basic trainings. It was what I felt before I got upset. It is a similar process with stress. I'm sure you can see that it's much easier to change your direction before there is a lot of momentum pushing you in the direction you're headed in. Pay attention to how you're feeling. Notice changes. Maybe you'll notice a tightness in your neck or shoulders. Maybe you'll notice that you're clenching your jaw or your abdomen, or even holding your breath. This is your cue. Discovering your cue is the first step. You may already be aware of what it is. The next step is doing something about it, something calming, because you don't have a lot of alone time. Oh, this was when everybody had to stay home. It's good to choose something you can do when others are there. That's when this show ran. So the following list comes from my original plan for calm and from more current discoveries. Choose what works for you. Time out. This keeps coming to mind, so let's start with this. It's best if you explain to your family that in order to keep in a good mood, sometimes you are going to have a timeout, and ask them please not to bother you until your timeout is over. Where? As long as everyone is safe, choose your place. If you need to be in the room with others, you might sit in a corner or even just be there listening to something on your earbuds, like music, something inspirational, something calming. How long? Hopefully, as long as you need to get into a good frame of mind. You could decide beforehand and tell everyone. You could set a timer, or you could just tell them you'll stop as soon as you feel good again. During your time out, do something that is satisfying for you with the intention to feel better. Read for a while, listen to music, play music, sing. Take a shower or bath if you can. Meditate, visualize, work out, dance, call a friend, go work in your shop if you can. Something that makes you feel better. Okay, another thing you can do is change your focus. 2 ways to do this come to mind, but they both result in changing what you're thinking about. In fact, everything in Time Out does that too. The reason this helps is because what you're thinking about is what is causing the stress. Change those thoughts to something more enjoyable, and you can start to relax. You can do the following wherever you are. Observe something you enjoy, something in nature, your pet, your kids, something. Doesn't have to be those, just something. Maybe a certain color or shape. Anyway, something. Or think an enjoyable thought, at least a more enjoyable thought from the past, the present, or the future. Just focus on your breathing. Take deep, slow breaths. This is how we breathe when we are calm. Or you could do my pattern interrupt. This is something that came in my life more recently than some of the others, like the cue came long ago. Choose a positive phrase, word, sentence, mantra. Repeat it silently in your mind. For me, it vanishes when I'm feeling good again. At some point, I realize I'm not repeating it anymore. Although the above strategies are effective at reducing stress and overwhelm, the following strategy can prevent much of your stress and overwhelm from being created, especially when it comes to your kids. Imagine your home. Everyone is getting along, helping each other. This doesn't mean there are no differences in opinion, values, interests, needs. But you now have the means to harmonious solutions, and each of you know this practice it, and reap the benefits. The one rule does it all. Knowing and following the one rule is all you really need to create harmony between you and your kids. I'd already realized and documented that over the years I raised my own children, worked with hundreds of children as head teacher in the Montessori school I co-founded, and in public schools after that. I had used, discovered, and created 108 tools, skills, and strategies. One evening I was thinking, do people actually have to learn and know all of these 108 tools, skills, and strategies to be able to raise happy kids? It seemed so unlikely. Then I asked myself a question. What is the least that people need to know about what I've learned about raising happy kids so they can most quickly and easily raise their own happy kids? Or something like that. Simple. Long ago, when I realized that I could create harmonious relationships with kids, I used to want to be able to take all the children home with me. But of course, that's ridiculous. So what I decided way back then was that I needed to figure out what I did differently so that I could share this with other people. And it became my first book. I never planned to write a book, but it turned into a book. But it's only in the past, since I did this, since I asked myself these questions, that the one rule, which is so simple and yet so, it touches anything and everything with harmony. And the thing that I've realized about it most recently, so that this didn't come, the essence of doing it did come long ago. Anyway, I'm going to continue reading this, but I wanted to share with you that these newest things, even though the whole background is what led up to this, but having it lead up to this is now I can share this with you. And recently, just last week, I became aware of what it actually does in a way. And there may be more coming, but right now, this is leading edge for me. I will share it with you today. Okay. During that evening, when I asked myself the questions, little by little, it was uncovered in my mind, going deeper and deeper, like digging for buried treasure, until I found it. Wow, that's it. That's all people really need to know. If they know this and use it, it takes care of all the rest. I was amazed. I told one of my coaches, and he came up with 108 parenting lessons in one simple rule. Here's the one rule. To raise happy kids and to be happy yourself, make sure that all involved agree with each decision. I know it sounds too simple. It is simple. But this is how I raised my kids once I decided never to force them to do what they did not want to do. This was how I treated the kids I worked with. Why and how the one rule works. Apparently, our brain is hardwired to answer questions. When we're asked a question or when we ask ourselves a question, our brain immediately begins searching for an answer. The one rule is like asking our brain a question, so it immediately begins searching for an answer. The problem, trouble, or conflict is the source of the question. We ask two primary questions. How can we find agreement? And what is really important to me in this situation? That's how there is a direct connection to the 108 tools, strategies that help solve the problem. You may have more or different solutions, but the 108 is what came up in my life. And a lot of these are common things, like kindness is one of them. Your foundation is the heart-to-heart bridge. When you use the one rule, you create a heart-to-heart bridge between you and your child. That way you both feel loved at all times. You are loved, but you also feel loved. They are loved, but they also feel loved. No one has to wait until there's some disaster or loss to recognize the love that is there. You and your child get to feel it at all times. Imagine the blissful power of this. Holding space. In my first coaching session on the one rule, I learned another important reason that the one rule works so well in creating harmony between kids and adults. And that's the one rule creates harmony and peace and good times, good feeling times between kids and adults, is the thing that became clear to me just last week. It does that. You follow this rule and it does that for you because it's built into it. Anyway, onward. When you're determined to be solution-oriented, and the solution must be one all involved agree on, you are holding space for yourself and for your child. You are not only a model of how to follow the one rule when you hold space for yourself, being determined that your needs get met too, you are helping them learn how to follow the one rule too. One of the most important reasons that the one rule works is that it does not deny anyone. We are each part of the agreement. That's because we are each important. Ah, okay. That's the end of that one. Now, let's go on to the next one. I don't know. I didn't go through these in detail, so I'm not really sure of everything that's in there. It has recently become crystal clear to me. Step 1, 2, 3, clear to me. The process where conflict develops, the habits involved, and what to do to change that. Before we get into that, let's do this little exercise to see where we are headed. Close your eyes and imagine this, your family, no conflicts, everyone getting along, everyone helping everyone getting what they need, everyone having a good time. Just imagine. Sound good? Well, that's what you can create with the one rule. This one strategy could put an end to conflict in just one session. I learned this strategy from 3-year-old children. I was teaching them a complex conflict resolution strategy, actually intended for adults, and they taught me this. So don't think you're in for a rough time. It's simple, it's easy, it's powerful and effective. It works if you use it. That's what it takes. You just have to use it. So let's get started. First, we're going to take a look at how conflict begins. In just about anything you can think of, there can be differences between two people. Picture this. No one has the same point of view. That means that no one physically looks out of your eyes except you. If two or more people are looking at the same thing, each person's point of view is different, if only slightly. Differences don't have to result in conflict. Everyone has differences. Differences in interests. Some of us like to read, and some of us would rather play video games. Differences in beliefs. Some of us believe in the work ethic, and some of us believe that life is a playground. Differences in values. Some of us believe in cooperation, and some of us believe in competition. Differences in likes and dislikes. Some of us like chili, and some of us don't. That's not to say that we don't have many things in common, but when we have differences and do not know how to resolve them in a humane and peaceful manner, conflict develops. Out of the situation of conflict spring all the troubles that develop between adults and kids. Think about it. When you're angry with your kids, it's because they want one thing and you want another. Whether it's over bedtimes, you want them to go to bed. They want to stay up. Homework, you want them to do their homework. They want to watch TV. Chores, you want them to do their chores. They want to go to their friends. Whatever the issue. Learning how to resolve differences and the resulting conflicts in a humane and peaceful manner is what the one rule is all about. Once you've made the one rule your habit, you can avoid getting into conflict in the first place. The one rule is simple. It's finding agreement before you decide what to do or not to do. As long as there are no differences, there's no need to use the one rule. However, let me put something in here. It was pointed out to me by Batul that the one rule is really good to use when you're making a plan, like you're planning for a vacation or holiday, as she would say. So you can use the one rule there, finding agreement. Okay, onward. Remember that earlier I said I'd become 1, 2, 3 clear about the process where conflict develops, the habits involved, and what to do to change that. We've covered the first part. Now let's get into the rest. Okay, I'm going to take a little water. You, the adult, are the example of the one rule in action. You make sure that the rule is followed, and especially that you follow it. The one rule shifts everyone's goals. The primary goal is now finding agreement. But remember that what everyone agrees to is something that they like, that they want, something that is satisfying and fulfilling to them and to everyone else involved. It's not just settling for second best or giving up on having something you want at all. And the one rule is only used when differences are leading to conflict. Well, but we saw that it doesn't have to be that. It is a path back to harmony. That's all. Yes, and this is what I've learned. Using it automatically, inevitably creates harmony in that situation, creates peace in that situation, and lets everybody feel good in that situation. One of the common habits that contributes to conflict is the adult's habit of saying no to what kids want. Using the one rule eliminates this habit, so it is no longer a player. If you had this habit, you may notice that saying no might still be your first impulse, but it will vanish as you get used to using the one rule. Another habit that can contribute to conflict is the adult's habit of being in charge. This is another habit that vanishes as you get used to using the one rule. You'll see that finding agreement is such a satisfying habit to develop. It relieves the stress of having to be in charge. And as you experience the enjoyment and relief of coming to agreements, you'll be so glad you adopted this new harmonious habit. Another habit that can be transformed by the one rule is the habit of being a bully. This is closely related to the habit of always being in charge. A bully is someone who has the habit of taking charge of other people, whether those people agree with this or not. I'm sure you can see how the one rule changes this habit. Now, I just had this thought that someone who takes charge of other people could also be someone who's a good leader, but they wouldn't take charge of someone if they didn't agree with it. So the one rule is really helpful for people who have the ability to lead and the interest and the willingness. Not everyone does want to do that, but really the one rule kind of smooths all that stuff out. Okay, I'm sure you can see how the one rule changes this habit. The new habit is finding agreement with whoever is involved. No bully here. Here's a story that wants to be told, even though at the time I had not yet become aware of the one rule. Doesn't mean I didn't use it. I was substituting in a class of fifth graders. I'd been there for a few days. There was one boy who none of the other kids seemed to like. His assigned seat was by himself at the front of the room. Then he was absent for a couple of days. When he came back, he started throwing little pieces of wadded up paper at the other kids. I wondered what to do. It was my belief that he did not feel good about himself, and I didn't want to make him feel worse. I need some more water. But I didn't want him to throw things at the other kids. They didn't like that. I guess I asked myself a question and I found an answer. This is one thing that happens when you use the one rule, right? There was one large empty wall in the classroom. I had him move his chair nearer the wall. I told him he could throw the paper at the wall for as long as he liked. He started doing that. When he was done, he picked up the paper on the floor, and not only did he not throw anything at anyone, but he was also invited by a group of boys to sit at their table. One thing I didn't point out is that there were they were long tables, not as long like a like a door-sized table. Well, maybe they were actually, but anyway, all the students sat at these big tables except for this boy. Okay. So he got invited to sit at one of the tables. Oh, that's the end of that story. Well, anyway, yeah. So there was harmony for him and for the others that hadn't been there before. Now, let's see what other problems we can solve with the one rule. Oh, okay. That's the end of that. All right. Oh, interesting. Huh. Okay. All right, let's go on to the next thing I was thinking of. Okay. See, this is the main website now. My other website, which I've had for years, I had to make it an archive website because the company that hosts these doesn't make any changes on those websites anymore. So I created a new website. I don't know if you can hear that, but I forgot to turn off my phone. Oh well. Okay. So this is the new website, happykidscode.org. This is what came to me to put as the lead in to this website. And it turns out it's like part of the essence of what I have to share with everyone now. Because we are each important. That's why the one rule was created in me. And why anyone who agrees with this is going to be thrilled about how using something clear can bring such powerful results of peace and harmony between you and your kids. Other people agree. Other people want this to be in other sectors of life, but my focus is friendly parents, happy kids. That's also the name of my latest training. Okay. So here, this is something new. This is where you can go and sign up for the mailing list. And the first thing that you get is a short video on the one rule. Let's see. Yeah, I changed part of this over the weekend. Use the one rule, and peace, harmony, and happiness. Peace, harmony, happiness are your results. It's just automatic. And there's where you can sign up for the mailing list. And these are some of the programs that I have available. How to contact me. That I'm a partner with the Universal Peace Federation. This was one thing that my Montessori teacher or trainer said, which seemed really significant to me. We are not here to comfort children when they cry, but to see that they have no reason to cry. There, the one rule fits into that. And this is where you can sign up to become affiliate. Then if you you'll get an affiliate link when you sign up. And if anybody purchases anything from me, you'll get 50% of that. Any sales that are connected to your affiliate link. Okay, now up here, for some reason I was going to point out this. If you want to find out more about me, there's my links to, there's how you can email me, my workshop history resume, and all my social medias, a phone message you can call. Oh, my BBB link, so you can, Better Business Bureau, you can check that out. Okay, that most pages are going to have this where you can sign up as an affiliate, this information, and maybe this information. Okay. What I wanted to share with you today were the magazines. And in particular, I noticed let's see. I'm just wondering because it seems logical that I would share the other stories in the other magazine, but this is the one that popped into my mind. So it's taking its time loading up. The first two magazines, I think, don't have stories in them. There's a fifth one in process. Okay. Let's see. It's not. Huh. I did this magazine. Part of it was honoring my son because he went to heaven a couple of years ago. And he was totally honored by his community. Hundreds and hundreds of people wrote in about well, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. Okie dokie. Then let's see. I'll bet we can find what I wanted in the stories. Let's see. Oh, one of them I won't be able to because I know it's not in the stories. What was the other one? Oh. Okay. I'm gonna see if that one came up because I don't. Oh, it did. That's my son. So many positive things people said. And I guess I shared it because that kind of result of so many people feeling so much positive energy is something that can happen with all the people. Okay, this is a lesson. It's actually part of the, okay. This is something I'm going to be sending out in, oh, I was gonna say it's part of the training, Friendly Parents, Happy Kids, okay? But it's here too. Everything that you need to do the one rule, to use it, to make it part of your life, you can find it here easily, okay? And if you decide to join as a member, you can even get a membership for $1.99 a month. And you not only get everything current, including that training I mentioned, Friendly Parents, Happy Kids, but you get all the archived work all the foundational work for the one rule, but you don't need the foundation to do the one rule. The one rule, you just do it and it takes care of all of that for you. But the foundation helps. Okay, just like knowing how to introduce the one rule helps. Not essential, just doing it, just using it, just making it how you interact with your kids. That's what's essential. The rest is good and helpful. Okay, so this was the introduction to the main, to one of the sections of my book, my first book that turned into the mission to help all kids grow up happy. And so I'm going to read the introduction to you. In the cartoon series Calvin and Hobbes by Bill Watterson, Hobbes asks Calvin why they play war rather than peace. Calvin says that there are too few role models. Role models is what this section of the book is about. Since I also have very few role models. Now, there are more these days. There are more. The adult responses in this section of the book are based on what I might actually say or do in the various situations, varied according to the needs and friendly parenting skills of the adults in the examples. Wow, interesting. Friendly parents was back then. The children's responses are based on what I've experienced of children's responses to respectful treatment. If this does not seem realistic to you, I can only say that I've tried to make these examples fit my experiences as closely as I could. I have found that children, those born to me, as well as those I've worked with and those I've enjoyed as friends, are willing and even eager to brainstorm solutions once they understand the process. Well, now the one rule makes it even simpler. Okay. And especially once they realize that only solutions which are agreeable to all involved are considered acceptable. Wow, there's the one rule right there in that paragraph. Everything is right there. Way back in the late 80s is when the manuscript started getting written, not as a manuscript, but that's what it turned into. I have found that children are quite willing to cooperate once they realize that they are consistently treated with respect. And the thing is, just we could change this and say that about the consistently using the one rule. I have found that children treat me with great care and consideration when I've treated them that way, when I've been a model of this behavior for them and toward them. In the following examples, the first situations, concern families in transition toward being more respectful. The later ones deal with families whose members are in the habit of interacting respectfully, or you could say using one rule. Okay. Well, I'm going to read this one. I know the other one, but it's very long. The other one I was going to share with you. There wouldn't be time today. Okay. This story is called I Hate You. Remember, these people are not used to using the one rule, or in this case, respect. Then it was the power of respect. I hate you, Daddy. Don't you talk to your father that way, young lady. I'd like to handle this, Missy. I want to try what I've been practicing in the class. Conrad took a few deep breaths to calm himself. It was upsetting to hear his daughter say this. He walked over to Nan so they could have a private talk. You're mad at me, Dan? I hate you. Go away from me. Conrad feels the pain of the energy she's hurled at him. It hurts me when you say that, Nan. Would you tell, I hate you, don't be here. I'm glad it hurts you. Okay. Oh. Conrad sees that Nan is not at all open to him right now. Nan, I'm going to work in the shop. I hope we can talk about this later. He decides that she is too emotionally charged to relate to him, and he thinks that he might have more success later. He shakes his head at Missy, who's about to reprimand Nan. About an hour later, Conrad joins Nan out in the backyard. Can we talk about it now, Nan? Nan looks at her father suspiciously. Why are you being so nice? If you think you can make it up to me, you can't. Did I do something to hurt you? You promised to come to my class today. We waited and waited. The teacher didn't know what to do since she was planning to have you come and bring your scale models and talk about making buildings. It was the pits. After school, some of the kids were teasing me. I hated it. Nan, I'm very sorry. I must have written the wrong date on my calendar. I thought it was next month. I hope you can forgive me. I know you said I couldn't make it up to you, but I hope I can. I could come another day. That wouldn't be enough. You'd have to do something really great to get some of those boys to stop teasing me. Something really great, huh? Yeah, or they'll still think I have a flake for a father. A flake, huh? Yeah, that's what they were saying, and that you don't really care about me or you wouldn't have forgotten. That maybe I'm adopted and that's why you don't care very much. Am I adopted? No, sweetie, you were born to your mother and me, and I do care about you. I love you very, very much. I love you very much, very much. I'm sorry those kids were so mean to you. You asked me why I'm so nice to you after you said you hated me. I'd like to tell you. I love you so much that I'm taking a class to learn how to be a respectful parent. Okay, showtime is over. And nowadays it would be, I learn how to use the one rule and then explain what that's about. Okay, maybe we can do this another time. Okay, here we are back. All right, have a great week. Use whiteboards. I don't want whiteboards. Use the one rule and have a good time, really good time. I'm gonna get off Facebook. Stop.